Welcome to Mythos AI, your source for Cliff's Notes on complex subjects. Join Anna and Phil for yet another engaging conversation.
Today, we're going deep, really deep into the story of Larry Page, the mind, behind Google.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how some individuals just reshape the world.
Exactly. And with Page, it's this journey from a childhood kind of surrounded by tech to revolutionizing how we access information.
And how he sees AI shaping the future. But to truly grasp Page, we need to start at the beginning.
Right, the foundation. And his parents, they're key to this story, right?
Absolutely. I mean, talk about an influential upbringing. His father, a computer science pioneer. His mother, teaching programming. That's not just a home, it's a breeding ground for a certain kind of thinking.
It really is. Like, tech wasn't just present. It was woven into the fabric of their lives, discussed, debated,
Precisely. It wasn't just, oh, there's a computer. It's this computer, it represents a world of possibilities. That had to have an impact.
And it clearly did. You see it early on. The story goes, young Page, he's taking things apart, gadgets, anything he could get his hands on.
The classic sign. I mean, every budding engineer, right? They have to see the guts, figure out how it ticks.
Totally. But in Page's case, it's more than just curiosity, I think. It suggests this need, this drive to understand how things work at their core.
That's the engineer's mind, isn't it? Not content with just using something, you have to crack it open, see the mechanics, the gears turning.
Exactly. And later on, when you think about Google, Page isn't just building a search engine. He's deconstructing the very idea of how information is organized. He's seeing the mechanics of the internet itself.
It's fascinating, right? It's like those early experiences, they instilled in him this idea, technology isn't static. It can be taken apart, understood, and ultimately reimagined.
And he certainly does that throughout his career. I mean, he's taking existing technology search engines, for instance, and he flips them on their head, completely changes how we understand them, how we use them.
And it all really starts to take shape during his time at the University of Michigan, right?
Right, studying computer engineering. And already, even then, he's exploring autonomous vehicles, which, thinking about it.
Way ahead of his time.
Exactly. But the really pivotal moment, it's Stanford, right? Pursuing his PhD in computer science. That's where it all changes.
That's where he meets Sergey Brin. And that meeting, it really did change everything. I mean, the trajectory of the internet hinges on these two connecting.
I've read that initially they actually clashed quite a bit.
Oh, absolutely. Strong personalities, both brilliant minds. They were bound to butt heads, but underneath those differences.
A shared vision.
Yes, they both saw it, the World Wide Web. It was this incredible thing bursting with potential, but clunky. Difficult to navigate.
Existing search engines, they were so limited. Page and Brin, they recognized that, right? They saw this opportunity.
To improve, to fundamentally change how people found information online, to bring order to the chaos in a way.
And that shared frustration, that shared vision, it led to Backrub, their very first search engine back in 1996, built on this, at the time, incredibly novel idea.
Backlinks. They were using backlinks to determine a web page's importance, which, for those who aren't familiar with the technical side...
Yeah, well, we should probably explain that a bit. What are backlinks, and why were they so revolutionary for search?
Okay, imagine the World Wide Web as this massive network, right? Like cities, all connected by roads. Backlinks, they're those roads. They direct traffic from one site to another.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Right. The more roads leading to a city, the more important that city becomes. And Page and Brin, they realized this applied to websites too, that this interconnectedness, it wasn't just random, it meant something.
It's like a vote of confidence, isn't it?
Exactly. A backlink from one site to another is basically saying, hey, this site's worth checking out, and that was the genius of it.
They understood that inherent in those links, in that web of connections, it was a way to measure the value of a web page. Not just what it said, but how it was connected to everything else.
And that's where PageRank comes in.
Which is a whole other layer of this, right? Because it's not just, oh, this page has a lot of links, so it must be important. PageRank, it digs deeper.
Right. It quantifies it. Assigns a value to each of those backlinks based on the importance of where it's coming from.
So it's not just about the number of backlinks, but the quality, the authority of those connections.
Exactly. PageRank, it's like this intricate algorithm sifting through this web of connections, constantly reassessing, ranking, and it changed everything.
It really did. Think about it. Before PageRank, search engines, they were rudimentary, trying to deliver relevant results, but often you get these long lists of websites.
Hit or miss, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
PageRank, it brought order to the chaos. Suddenly, the most authoritative, trustworthy information, it was rising to the top.
It's one of those things, it seems so obvious now. Of course, that's how it should work. But back then, groundbreaking.
Completely changed the game.
Hmm.
And the impact wasn't just on the user, although that was huge. It's how it changed the internet itself.
Because suddenly, website owners, content creators, they realized, hey, to rank higher, I need quality. I need other sites to deem my content valuable enough to link to.
It's fascinating, right? This single innovation, this idea about backlinks and authority, it ripples outward. Suddenly, it's not just about keywords anymore. It's about earning your place in this interconnected world.
And that, to me, is the brilliance of Larry Page. He sees those connections, those underlying principles, and he's not afraid to bet big on them.
It's almost like PageRank. It introduced this kind of, I don't know, natural selection to the online world,
You're right, in a way.
where quality, actual valuable content, it rises to the top.
Exactly. Relevance became paramount. And this wasn't by accident. This was by design.
Because that focus on quality, on delivering real value to the user, that's always been at the heart of Google's philosophy, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. From the very beginning, Page and Brin, they laid it out. A clear set of principles.
The 10 things we know to be true.
And those principles, they're all about the user.
Mm.
Focusing on their experience, constantly innovating, pushing the boundaries of what's possible. It's all there in those 10 statements.
It's remarkable, really, because they've guided Google's trajectory, haven't they? Through all the growth, all the expansion, those core ideas are still there.
Absolutely. They're baked into the DNA of the company. But
Yeah.
it's important to remember, none of this happens without Larry Page.
Right. His leadership, especially in those early days, it was crucial.
He wasn't content with just being the brilliant engineer. He had this instinct, this natural ability to lead, to inspire a team, to get them all rowing in the same direction.
And his leadership style, it was different, wasn't it? Not the typical top-down approach.
Oh, not at all. He encouraged, actually demanded a certain way of thinking. Moonshot thinking, he called it.
Right. Aim for the stars. Those big, ambitious, almost outlandish ideas, the kind that could really disrupt industries, solve global challenges.
And it wasn't just talk. Page created this environment, this culture at Google that reflected that.
Creativity wasn't just encouraged. It was expected.
Failure wasn't punished. It was seen as part of the process.
Learn from it, iterate, try again.
Exactly. And that approach, this embrace of risk, it wasn't just limited to product development. It extended to the very structure of the company itself.
Right. Page is a huge advocate for that flat organizational hierarchy.
Minimize the bureaucracy, keep things moving fast.
Open communication. Empower employees at all levels to contribute their ideas.
It was about agility. Especially in those early years, Google needed to move quickly, adapt to the constantly shifting landscape of the tech world.
Which, let's be honest, is no easy feat. The tech world, it changes by the minute.
Exactly. But Page's vision, it wasn't limited to just building a successful search engine. He saw something bigger.
He understood that the technology, the algorithms they were developing, it had far broader applications.
It could be applied to countless domains. It could change the world.
And that leads us to, I think, the second chapter in the Larry Page story.
The Alphabet era.
In 2015, big move. Google restructures, becomes a subsidiary of this larger parent company, Alphabet Inc., which, I'll be honest, at the time, it threw a lot of people for a loop.
It did. It was unexpected, bold. But in hindsight, it was a brilliant move.
Strategic, because it allowed Page to do two key things.
Okay, I'm listening.
First, it gave a lot more autonomy to all those different projects under the Google umbrella.
Which by that point were sprawling. I mean, Google was involved in everything.
Right. It wasn't just a search engine anymore. Self-driving cars, healthcare, you name it. And by separating those ventures from Google's core business.
He gave them space to breathe.
Exactly. They could innovate, grow, without being bogged down by the bureaucracy of a massive corporation.
Each entity operating independently with its own leadership, its own culture.
But still, with the backing and resources of a parent company like Alphabet. It was the best of both worlds, really.
Stability and disruption all at once.
Exactly. Google, the core business, it remained stable, continuing its dominance in search. But then, with Alphabet.
The freedom to pursue those moonshot ideas, the ones with real potential to change everything.
And that was the second key thing, wasn't it? This restructuring. It allowed Page to step back a bit from the day-to-day operations at Google.
And focus on those long-term bets, the ambitious, high-risk, potentially high-reward projects.
Like Waymo, Google's self-driving car project.
Right. And Verily, focused on life sciences, healthcare technologies.
These ventures, they really exemplified Page's belief that technology, when coupled with bold vision, could tackle some of humanity's biggest challenges.
This wasn't about making a quick buck. This was about changing the world.
Absolutely. And at the heart of many of these ventures, there's this one technology that Page has always been incredibly passionate about: artificial intelligence. And it's not just a passing interest, is it? Page's fascination with AI, it goes way back.
Oh, absolutely. He's been talking about its potential for years, how it could change, well, practically everything.
Everything from those everyday tasks, the things we all kind of wish we could automate,
To those huge, complex scientific problems that have stumped us for centuries.
and under Page's leadership, Google, they put their money where their mouth is. I mean, the investments in AI research and development have been massive.
Integrated it into everything they do. I mean, you see it everywhere.
Oh, yeah. The algorithms behind Google search.
Google Assistant, your AI in your pocket, basically.
But, and this is the crucial part, Page's vision for AI, it's not just about making Google products a bit slicker, right?
No, not at all. He sees it as this tool, this incredibly powerful tool for tackling, well, the world's biggest problem:
Climate change.
disease prevention.
Expanding access to education, information. He thinks big picture, which makes sense when you think about DeepMind.
Right. 2014, Google acquires DeepMind, and that sent shockwaves through the tech world.
Because DeepMind, they weren't just some small startup. They were already doing groundbreaking work in deep learning.
AlphaGo, that was the real eye-opener.
Right, and an AI system that beat a world champion Go player.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's not a
Riveted.
sign of things to come, I don't know what is.
It was a watershed moment, and Page, he saw it immediately. The potential of DeepMind, it was undeniable.
That acquisition, it was Google, under Page, saying, we are all in on AI. But again, and I keep coming back to this, it's not just about the technology itself, is it? It's about what you do with it.
Precisely. And that's what's so fascinating about Page. It's not just about creating a commercially successful product. It's about leveraging that success, using technology, especially AI, to solve real problems, to make a real difference in the world. And that desire, that drive, it's present in everything he does. Look at Google Maps. Revolutionized how we navigate.
Google News, information from across the globe, constantly updated.
Gmail. I mean, remember email before Gmail.
It's easy to forget how much these products, they've changed our lives. They're so ingrained, so commonplace, we almost take them for granted.
That's the mark of truly transformative technology, isn't it? It becomes invisible, essential, like oxygen.
And Page, he wasn't content with just the digital world. Google Fiber, that was a huge undertaking.
Bringing high-speed internet to cities across the U.S. Ambitious, to say the least.
Because he saw internet access as a fundamental utility, just as important as electricity as water.
In the 21st century, it is. It's about leveling the playing field, giving everyone access to information, to opportunities. And even beyond his work with Google, Page has been deeply involved in philanthropy. The Carl Victor Page Memorial Foundation, supporting all sorts of charitable organizations.
Right, named in honor of his father. And renewable energy, sustainability, those are big issues for him. Investing in solutions, trying to tackle those challenges head on. It all paints this picture of someone who's not just brilliant, but also deeply committed to using that brilliance for good.
Absolutely. And that's what's so inspiring about Larry Page's story. It reminds us that we can dream big, that we can use technology to make a real difference in the world, and maybe, just maybe, we can even solve some of those seemingly impossible problems along the way.
It's a powerful legacy, that's for sure. From revolutionizing how we access information to pushing the boundaries of artificial intelligence, Larry Page's journey is a testament to the power of audacious goals, relentless curiosity, and a deep-seated belief in the power of technology to shape a better future.
He's certainly set the bar high for innovators and entrepreneurs for generations to come.
He has. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the incredible world of Larry Page. We hope you've enjoyed this exploration as much as we have. Until next time, keep those innovative sparks flying.
Thanks for listening to Mythos AI. Stay tuned for more concise insights. And remember to hit the like button and subscribe for future episodes.